Hello everyone. In this video we want to continue about how are traits inherited. We were talking about the meaning of the gene last time, about the meaning of alleles, about the meaning of dominant, recessive, and which one it will appear and which one homozygous and heterozygous. Now I want to talk about new terms, genotype and phenotype. What is the genotype? What is the phenotype? Actually, the combination of alleles. Listen, the combination of alleles. Just to remind you, what are the alleles? Let's go back. This one. The combination of alleles. Yani this one, this gene from your mom, this one from your dad. These two genes, the combination of them. These are the very different version of genes. These are called what? The alleles. Okay. The combination. Let's go back. The combination of alleles that you inherited from your parents is your genotype. Yani for example, if I'm talking, this one is your genotype for your ear. This one, for example, the B capital and B small. This one for the presence of dimple, for example, this one D capital and this one D capital. So this combination, okay, is called what? Your genotype. Okay, so your observable trait, yani the presence, for example, of dimple, your hair color, your eye color. Now that what I see, okay, from you. So your observable traits make up your phenotype. So the phenotypes of some traits follow patterns similar to ones Mendel discovered. What does that mean? Actually, the dominant allele contribute to the phenotype if one or two copies, as we mentioned in the previous video, copies are present in the genotype. Let's go back to understand this one. You remember when we wrote this one? Wait. Okay. The presence here of the two dominant or one of the dominant in your genotype, okay, it will what? So here dominant allele contribute to the phenotype if one or two copies are present in the genotype. What about recessive? The recessive allele contribute to the phenotype only when two copies of it are present. Yani if you look at this one here, even I have small b here, the recessive can't appear only if these two together, two recessive allele are combined together. Okay, so but for dominant, both of them the same, or one of them recessive and one of them dominant, only the phenotype will be for the dominant. Okay, this one here I hope is clear. I want to continue talking about this. Let's continue about this one. If one chromosome in the pair contains a dominant allele and the other contains a recessive allele, the dominant allele determines the phenotype, right? Okay. This is called complete dominance. You have to know this one. This one is called what? Complete dominant. I hope this one is clear now. So let's say it again. Maybe your let's say the presence of dimple in your for example, let's write this. Yani you receive from your mom D capital, and I told you that the dimple is presence of dimple D capital, which is a dominant trait, and receive from your dad what? Recessive one. So here, which means what is the phenotype will appear for the D capital, which represents the presence of what? Of, for example, of a dimple. Okay? So here, let's talk about this. This one is a complete dominance. Okay? This is for example, I mean. Okay? Let's continue now to give examples of these. Just hold on. Let's look at this one here. Imagine let's talk about for nose shape, for example, okay, if I told you, if like this question, this question, for example, let's say, just hold on. Okay, look at this question. Brown fur, B capital, which means it's dominant. Once you see capital, which means it's dominant, okay? Brown fur, which means the brown fur, it's the dominant in mice, is dominant over white fur, which is BB, which is mean because the two alleles should be present from parents to both parents. That's why they put it like this small b. You have two brown mice, and when they are bred together, look at this question, you have how many brown mice? Brown. Both of them, they have the phenotype for dominant, okay? And when they are bred together, you obtain the 3 brown-haired offspring, okay? And 1 white-haired offspring. Yani 3 of these offspring with a dominant phenotype with it, which is they have a brown fur, okay, and the one of them it's with white. What must have been the genotype of these brown-haired parents? The genotype. I'm asking about the genotype. Yani what did they give for their kids? Actually, for this one here, how to do it? For parents, imagine this one is brown and the other one is brown, and because one of the offspring it has white, which means both parents they have what they are carrying the recessive allele. So which means the first parent BB and the second parent, which is BB, both of them their genotype capital B with a small b, capital B with a small b, because both of them they have what? A brown, but one of their kids is what? It has white. Now, let's see how to do this, miss. How to do it? How to draw it here? So the first allele from the first parent, which is B, the second allele, which is small b, right? The first allele from the first parent, second parent, which is B, and the second allele, which is what? Which is B, is small. How the offspring are produced? So the first allele will combine with the first allele. So the first kid, which is what it has, BB, it has a brown hair. BB, both genotype are capital, right? That for the second allele, it will combine with the first allele also. This is the probability. So B with B. So this one also, this kid is a brown. Okay. That for the first allele, it will combine also with the second allele from this one. So it's gonna be VB. So this one is a brown. The second allele, it will combine with the second allele from this one. It will be what? BB small. Okay, so the genotype for the kids, these are the genotypes for this is white, and the 3 other kids are what? Are brown. What about parents? They should carry with them this recessive allele to give one of their kids what? With B allele, with this recessive allele. Okay, I hope this one is clear. I'm going to give you more examples like this. And so this is the genotype. You have to know this is the genotype. The brown-haired offspring, which is the phenotype. Okay, if you have any question about this one, you can send me your questions. Thank you for listening.